Good morning. We are waiting for people to jump on. We are going to be starting in about 2 minutes. We are just a couple minutes early today. And I am excited to share with you some amazing tips, tricks, and systems for some sleep money, multiple streams of automated income. My name is Aspen. And hopefully everything is working out. We are live. And I am just closing some of my windows so that we don't have any connection issues. And doing a couple more tests. Look at there. You can't see me anymore, but hopefully you can still hear me. So I'm going to exit out for a second and let me know if that caused any problems. It shouldn't. Okay, how is the sound registering there? We still good? Terry says, I see you. Good, thank you. So Terry, maybe you can help me out for a second. I just want to make sure that you're, so right now you're seeing me. What about now? You should see my screen. So it should say multiple trickles of income. If you guys can hear me and see the multiple trickles of income, please let me know. We'll help test right now. You see that too? Great. Okay, so good. You can do the sound and that. So welcome everyone. We are at 9:01 and I want to be respectful of your time. A slight delay on Google Hangouts. So just have to get used to that. You probably can't tell it on your end, but I have it definitely on my end. So quick question for you guys this morning. And the poll isn't working. Okay, so the question is, it'll work. The question is, how many income streams do you guys currently have in your entire household? So including active income, passive income, if you have a spouse who works in the home, even if you have a teenager with a job bringing in some income. Go ahead and type in the chat box how many income streams you currently have. And okay, so 1 for the household. Terry has 6. Way to go. That is great. And if you have, if you are open to it, you don't have to, but we're just going to type in kind of what some of those income streams are. So, like we have 1 day job for our household, and we have lots of other little trickles. So we're going to get started right in the actual slide presentation in a minute, but I just want to get to know you guys a little bit. If you don't know me, I'll go into that in just a few minutes, but my name is Aspen, and I have been self-employed now for 16 years. Is that Krista Sutton? So Krista's actually been to my all-day class on this topic, and I'm hoping that's Krista Sutton. Hi, Krista. And so she's actually been through the full day class of this presentation. This is a shorter version, but it's still going to be probably over an hour depending on where we are. So I appreciate you guys hopping on today, and I know your time is valuable, and I have some amazing tips that you will definitely want to wait all the way to the end, because wow, one of the tips I just not too long ago found myself, and it can revolutionize any business. So I'm actually going to close this curtain real quick. As you can see, it's blaring me in the face. Okay, probably not the best way to do that, but a cottage food business. Wow. Okay. So I'm going to get into some of my streams of income here in a little bit. So I'm not even going to put mine on here, but we're going to go ahead and flip the screen around and get into the PowerPoint. But I'll be flipping back and forth a little bit. So hopefully that doesn't make you too dizzy. So one of the things that got me the most interested in multiple trickles of income was I first sat in a hotel meeting in Salt Lake City, and I was probably barely 18, and I was there with my mom, and we just fell in love with the concept of residual income. I had wanted to be a missionary, and I just thought, why doesn't every missionary in the whole world who wants to be career missions, I wanted to be full-time, you know, not like a 1-year or 2-year mission, but I wanted to do missions for a lifetime. And so in that hotel meeting, I just thought everyone should know about residual income. The downside is how many of you guys have ever had any huge hangups and you had this goal to have time and money freedom, but it seems like every few years something just gets in the way. There's a major hiccup, a major hang-up, and things just didn't go your way. Whether it was the economy recently, that was another big derailment for us. But I want to take you back a little bit to where we were after I graduated college. So I had just graduated college, spent about $60,000 on my public relations degree, and I couldn't work. I had a doctor who told me that I would probably be on medication the rest of my life, that I should consider disability, and that my chances of holding and keeping a job were very slim. Now, when someone speaks something like that into your life, it can do so much damage mentally, physically, emotionally. And unfortunately, I can't say that normally what I would do when someone tells me I can't do something, I would just use it to fuel me doing it harder, better, faster. But because of where I was at that time in my life, I bought what he said, hook, line, and sinker. And so I found myself with student loans to repay and sitting in the welfare office, getting food stamps. And so fast forward, I had to find some creative ways to make money. And I wasn't very good at it because of I had a debilitating brain disorder, and I just could not work. I couldn't think, I couldn't function. And so I went on to thankfully find something that helped. And then I was able to work. So I went on to build a pretty good empire for myself in my age in my 20s. I was making about $6,000 a month. From food stamps to that kind of money for me was a lot. Now, I know for a lot of people, that is like nothing. They want to make $1 million a month. But for me, that was an amazing success. And unfortunately, we had a couple things happen. My husband's active linear income got hit with the economy, and my income, which was actually doing great because of the economy, it was not, it was actually doing better because of the economy. I had a business partner who knocked over that basket, and I totally could have done some things better, but I had put all of my income eggs in that basket. And so I actually ended up back on food stamps. So from food stamps to success to food stamps. And that was one of the lowest points of my life because I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to get any help. I didn't want to take assistance. So this was just a couple years ago, back from food stamps to an Idaho Businesswoman of the Year. So if you are feeling completely knocked down, you're like, I don't know, I don't even have a job right now. How am I going to create multiple streams of income when I don't even have one thing working well for me? And I completely understand. Not only have I been there, but I've been there more than once. And so enough about me. I'm just going to do a couple quick screenshots. I know this isn't like, tens of thousands of dollars, but my point in showing this is I didn't want to show all of our different business accounts and checking accounts, but this is one where just is set up for some deposits. It's not even my business checking account, but it's my second personal account. And there's about 6-7 types of income here on just these couple pages. Total, I think I calculated my streams of income were 10. That's exaggerated a little bit because of what I'll show in a minute. But so I have a book, consulting fees, a rental unit, Amazon sales, Square sales that are from consulting fees, PayPal income coming in. Here's just a quick, this was just over 4 days in PayPal, and a weekly commission check. And so book royalties, this is actually one of my favorites. I'm not going to talk a lot about writing a book today. However, one of the things that really, Krista, who's on the webinar, one of the things that totally hooked her about what I teach and do is, what if you could outsource writing a book and not even write the book yourself? You could outsource having it formatted and uploaded, and then you just basically get to check your reports here and be like, oh, this week we sold 40 units of print books. And the thing about some of what I teach is I want you to create something once and then use it in multiple different ways. Treat it like, set it once, collect on it forever. Whether it's a webinar, whether it's an ebook, whether we're going to talk a little bit about ClickBank. It's someplace you can upload your ebook to Amazon and to other places, and then turn that same content into a webinar or a course. So there's lots of different things online about online courses and things. So today we're going to talk about ways to make money on and offline. And a little bit about active income too, because active income is important also. How to make more money with what you're already doing. And I have some great stories about that. The top ways to make residual income, how to get money in your sleep, how not to leave money on the table with what you are doing. And I have a great story about a massage therapist who was doing that very thing for 20 years. There was so much lost opportunity that she had in her business. And I don't want you to be looking back the last 20 years or the future 20 years and seeing how much money you actually left on the table. some 20 ideas that you can pick from to implement in 2016. We're going to talk about how you should really only implement one idea every 90 days. So if you're working on, a book, set a deadline of 90 days to get the first draft out. And then maybe the next 90 days you get the print book done. And I do everything backwards because it works. I'm sure many of you have not set aside hundreds of dollars a month in your 20s to let that compound interest allow you to retire in 5, 10, 15, or 20 years. We started those investments and we cashed them out just to survive in 2011. So the best laid plans often go awry, but that's some of what we're going to be covering. And if you stay to the very end, I am really excited to share one of my 3 whole pages of tips and free resources. Some of them you will probably already heard of, like Canva, but one of them is so cool that I contribute spending $60,000 on my degree in public relations and marketing, that this tip is worth summing up my entire degree. So I think it's worth like $60K. And by the way, we're still paying off those pieces of paper. So yes, my name used to be Aspen Pottinger. My nickname was Asspot. Those are just for you guys on this webinar, that little nugget. If I catch you calling me Asspot in public, Krista, it will not be pretty. But it doesn't matter how great a name you have. I do love my name Aspen. But it was a pain to grow up with. So I want you to just imagine for a minute, why are you even on this webinar? What do you want? What is your why? If you haven't ever spent time exploring your why, find out why you do what you do and really focus on that. I mean, have pictures, and I have a whole wall that's a dream board wall here in my office. But begin with the end in mind. What if you could wake up every single day and your bills were already paid before you rolled out of bed? What if you could make more money in your sleep than you could spend when you're awake? Now, I have number 1 and almost number 2 out of the way. My goal is number 3, to be able to make more money in my sleep than I could spend when you're awake. I'm not a big spender shopper, but I love to travel, so I could spend a lot of money while I was awake traveling. So what does the second one mean? $4,000 of automated income is the starting goal to freedom. I saw a report, and it was talking about you can retire on less than you think. And it actually had I don't know, some really low number, like $2,000 a month with no debt. And that was the average fixed needs without debt, with the house paid off, that you would need to live on. But I just called it surviving on, because they were talking about your cell phone bill, your food, your utilities, things that don't go away, those expenditures that don't go away, even when you're retired, staying home, house is paid off, and you're 100% debt free. Well, then I saw another thing that was talking about the $4,000 mark. And that, I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but if you think about it, if you made $4,000 a month and had no debt and a reasonable lifestyle, you could have $2,000 a month in fixed expenses and do whatever you want on $2,000 disposable income. Now, every dollar that you create in automated residual income is worth 3 to 4 times the amount of any other income, because it comes in, day out, sick or well, get out of bed or don't get out of bed, your income is the same. That kind of income has more power than the get up, go to your job, get up, go to your job. I saw that we had an attorney on here. I considered going to law school. I had a professor in college that just loved the way I could debate any topic, whether or not I even was like on that side. Like I could just debate pretty much anything. And he, but I just knew early on, I'm like, that has no residual income with it. Yes, it has a great income and salary of which people should be, doing investments and properties, and many are. But a lot of times doctors are living so far above their means and their any income is so linear that if they get hurt or they get burned out, they're done. But what if they'd been doing some things on the side to create that? Okay, so enough on that one. If you have a pen and paper handy, take a minute and jot down this website. It will also be on my resources page at the end, but I wanted to give you a really good resource up front in case you can't stay to the end. So cherrysmooney.com has an amazing test. I actually learned this from Jody Voorhees. She's an amazing marketing expert here in our local market. And it's kind of a way that you can start with just your brand and then build from there and decide what kind of streams of income you want to add to that brand. But what are your skills? Paul J. Meyer was one of my amazing mentors. He actually was the mentor of Zig Ziglar. So if you can imagine, I want to follow Zig's mentor, right? A lot of people follow Zig, but I want to follow who Zig was following. And when Paul J. Meyer died, he had over 40 businesses to his name. And he had given away almost $1 billion in his lifetime. I just think that that is amazing. Money with good people can do amazing things, good things. And Paul J. Meyer was just one of those men. But he spent a lot of time trying to get people to really dig in. Instead of getting those excuses, I don't have time for this. I don't have time to build another stream of income. I don't have the know-how. I just don't even know where to start. You start with doing an evaluation of yourself. What are your skills? What do you love? And what are you good at? For example, I love to sing. I can sing in the shower. I can sing in the car. I crank up my praise and worship music and I sing in, just the top of my lungs. I love singing at church. Oh my gosh, but you do not want to sit next to me. I suck at it. I would love to have become a singer. Never really entertained it because I knew I sucked like really, really early on. But, and bless my children's hearts, I have one who is kind of like, she loves to sing, but oh my goodness, that girl, she just can't sing. So if you're really, really good at something, but you hate it, that is not what you're going to pursue. I hate email. I just don't do it. What are you good at? And what do you love? So going back to Paul J. Meyer, he said, the best ping pong players in the entire world don't worry about their handicaps. They don't spend all of their training time trying to fix their handicaps. They focus on their strengths. They do what they're good at and they get better at it. Coach Skip Hall, former BSU football coach here in Boise, said, coach them up. Coach yourself up. You don't need a coach to tell you what your strengths are. So I want you to write down what are your strengths. And then you need to do an audit of your time. I started my first business with 1 day a week. available to me. Fridays, no less, not the best day of the week to start a business, especially in Boise, Idaho, where we all like to go play on the weekends and there's hunting, and I swear we are playing 6 months out of the year and not even doing business on Fridays. So, but I could get more done in 1 day a week than most people got in 5, because I had some cracks of time during the week where I would make phone calls and set up appointments for every Friday. And every Friday I was booked all day. I was able to manage my time very well with what I had. So fill out a calendar and circle all of the places on your calendar that you have cracks of time. I also wrote a book in the cracks of time. My children went to soccer practice. My husband got them out of the house. I even got permission to skip some of the games. So I got out of doing soccer practice duty. And even if you're a single mom, get someone to carpool and maybe just beg them to do it all the time. To say, you know, I'm really trying to increase my earning power and put some things in place that can pay me for 70 years after my death. Do you know that book royalties go for over 70 years after you're dead? Can you find some cracks of time to do that? Or we'll talk about how, you know, to just outsource that in a minute. What can you cut out or manage better? I was able to cut out soccer duty. I was able to cut out some networking events. I was able to cut out a few hours on the weekend that we used to just be, you know, doing laundry or hanging out watching TV. I just asked for a couple hours over the weekend to get some stuff done. I also outsourced some of my cleaning. I just realized that I needed some help in that area. And I was able to find a woman, and we created an amazing win-win. She wanted some of my products or services or consulting, and I wanted her cleaning. And so we worked out an amazing win-win where she got 50% cash and 50% trade. And we loved the arrangement. So think outside of the box. Most of us are familiar with a lot of different types of income, but I'm just going to go quickly over some of these. I want you to write down some idea joggers, like if any of these are a great idea jogger for you. We all wish that we had an inheritance and interest on lots of money in the bank, but that's not the reality for everyone. Royalties, ebooks, iTunes, print books, audiobooks. The ones with the asterisks next to them are actually ones that I enjoy income from. So we have royalties to our household, obviously the day job, rental income, internet income, past network marketing business income, and I'll talk a little bit about that, but not much, current network marketing business income, retirement income or disability income. I'm actually going to go back to that for a minute. Talking for a minute about active income. And I'm going to turn the camera around for a minute while I do that. Okay, so I want to encourage you. So Terry said, still can't see. Hopefully this is, okay, so right now, did you guys see those, all the slides or not? Can you guys give me some feedback on that? Because I was working the slides. You see multiple slides. Yeah, Krista, delegate and repurpose, baby. Okay, so talking a minute on, so didn't see the slides. Okay. All right, so that is not fun that you couldn't see the slides advance. That's all right. I have my notes here anyway. So active income from job income, second job income. If you've studied any of Dave Ramsey's stuff, you know that he says, live like no one else now so that you can live like no one else later. And so here's some other examples of active income streams. I had a mentor who really thought she had multiple streams of income going, and she did, as far as multiple active streams of income. But they included, if you have job income, second job income, consulting fees, coaching income, those are all linear. There is not actual residual income coming in from those income streams. So if you don't have a way to like monetize that. So for example, I do some coaching, but most of the time when I'm doing coaching, I'm putting it inside of a system so that it can later be part of a membership website or an automated webinar like this. So yes, right now, this minute, I am doing a live webinar, but guess what? You guys are part of the process because the live webinar actually gets turned into an ever webinar, and it's hosted where people will later actually just buy this webinar for say $50. And now what I did one time for active income and some consulting income later becomes automated and for sale. I recently had a friend just do a live Facebook video, and it was really good. It was on Facebook advertising, and I might do one of those down the road. But that Facebook Live, I attended the live webinar, and the live webinar was free. But then as soon as it was done, she took it off of Facebook and now charges $50 for that same live Facebook video. So how many of you guys have done Facebook Live videos or even YouTube Live? This is actually considered YouTube Live, what we're doing right now in the Google Hangout. It's just attached to my amazing webinar platform, which apparently didn't work so well with the slides. So go ahead and type in if you have done any. I've only done like one Periscope. Have you guys done any live videos? Okay, so still couldn't see the slides. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. So, Dale, don't have a Facebook video. You can do it from any smartphone, but we are going to go back to the part of the slide that I was getting into, and it's actually ways to make money. And I may try this one more time a different way. Okay, can you guys see that now? Can you see the slides? Okay, it should say money, online, and offline. Can you see it now? Yes. Okay, so we can keep it smaller in this window. Making money online and offline, sorry for that hiccup. Inheritance, franchisor fees, passive business income. If any of you guys have ever bought a franchise, you know there's tons of pros and cons. Franchisor fees, passive business income, rental income, internet income. And like I said before, the ones that have asterisks are the ones that I currently employ. kind of tricky. And yeah, this is weird because it's not advancing in the window. Think outside the box. Okay, so I got it to advance. I was up at a hot springs, and those of you who know me know that is not uncommon. But I was actually spending the weekend up at this amazing retreat. I mean, we were like staying in 1800s cabins, wood stoves, and this hot springs weekend. And I spent some time hanging out with this woman in the hot springs. You know, we were just talking, and imagine me meeting someone new and, you know, striking up a conversation. But she had just told me about this amazing trip that she had gone on to Europe. And she didn't have a lot of money overall. I could tell she wasn't, you know, well-to-do or even upper middle class, but she had saved and saved for several years to go on this European trip. And she said, you know, it wasn't actually even the trip that cost me so much money. It was not being able to work for 2 weeks, because obviously being self-employed, she didn't have an employer who's going to pay for her vacation pay. And when she was off work, she was out of work. And so we spent some time talking, and I said, you know, how many people do you see a week? And she's like, I don't know, like 15 to 20 most weeks. And she's doing 20 massages a week. And I said, how many of those are repeat customers? And she's like, oh, probably only about 20% are repeat customers. And I just almost wanted to weep that this woman had been using her hands, and she even said, her body was falling apart. She felt like she was getting carpal tunnel. She didn't know how much longer she could physically do massages. But she's been meeting 15 new people a week for almost 20 years. And I just wanted to cry for her, because there were so many opportunities when every time she was in front of people to talk to them about their problems, find solutions for them. And the number one rule in creating more income or abundance in your life is give without expectation of return. So when she's in front of those people, if she just listened, but then found solutions for them, ones that she could really get behind, used essential oils and lotions in her practice that she displayed and sold to them. If she had documented some of her benefits and features, done a couples massage class, she could have added lots of other little active streams of income, but she also could have incorporated some education while she had them on the table, and some things like adding in an auto ship for essential oils. And I don't sell, you know, any of the oils or anything. These are just ideas to incorporate. And we're going to get a little bit more into that. But I have another great story about thinking outside the box that I want to share. So during one of my live classes, we had a home inspector in the class. And because of my networking for so long and some different things, I just kind of know a lot of people, a lot of options out there. I've been hit up for network marketing companies for 20 years now, so I'm familiar with a lot of the network marketing companies out there. And sometimes they make sense in a business and sometimes they don't. I had a woman who came to me here locally. I'll get back to the home inspector guy in a minute. But I had another woman who came to me, and she said, she's like, Aspen, all of my income is linear. And she makes really quite good money. I mean, we're talking about over 6 figures a year, employs multiple people. And she's like, I am just so tired of working so hard. What can I do? And all she could really think of is maybe she could sell jewelry on the side of her business, something that wouldn't interfere with what she's doing in her day job. It wouldn't really detract from her brand that she's built a stellar brand with. And I was just like, what are you doing? Network marketing does not make sense for you or anything within your business model. But this woman owns like a professional video studio. I'm like, you just need to make lots of videos and take all the content that you've already created over the years, and let's put some of what you already have together in some packages and systems. Let's get you some ebooks. Let's collect all of your blogs and automatically have a book. Let's video. She already had video on herself in classes and marketing classes. I mean, she's a PR and marketing genius, but she couldn't think about how she could systematize and automate a lot of what she already had. And so we're just going to be working together to have someone who can help you think outside that box, who can help see what you're not seeing and making money in areas that you're not capitalizing on. But for her, I absolutely was very candid and truthful with her. And I said, direct sales, multi-level, it does not work for everybody. And for those it works for, sometimes you have to be very careful because you can undo and do more damage by just adding the wrong stream of income. So back to that air conditioning or home inspector guy. So he's in homes all the time. He goes in the door, he inspects the house, he gets paid. He does it again, he does it again. It's kind of like a realtor or a mortgage broker. None of them have residual income unless they're like an insurance agent that gets a portion of the residuals. And even insurance agents these days, most people don't know, they have declining residuals. Some of them, like with Aflac, have to be vested for 10 years in the business before they even see any of their residuals. So this home inspector guy, his current business model has no leverage and no residual income. But what if every time he walked into a home and did that inspection and built rapport with the homeowner and said, one of the things that we see is really tolling on houses is air conditioning units. And they are very expensive to replace. But it's really simply just changing the air filter that most people overlook. If I had an air filter delivered to your doorstep every 3 months as a reminder for you to change it, and it cost you no more money than going down to Home Depot and buying it, would you sign up on an auto delivery? Most people would say yes. Well, now he has a deal with the air filter store who has that program now, and he gets a residual, kind of like an affiliate commission every time someone opts in. So he does that for 90 days. He's not worrying about any other income for his first 3 months. He's going to see how well that's working. And if it works well and people are buying, he's going to stick with it. And then he's going to add another stream of income. For example, a network marketing company might make sense for him. Something like Norwex, they have cleaning supplies for the home. Not a huge opt-in for residual there, but he could definitely have quite a few upsells on the spot. And then perhaps in another 90 days, he's going to break my rule of only doing one network marketing company, only because he's selling one and then enrolling people in another. You can only do one as far as building, but perhaps he picked something like Melaleuca, where they have cleaning supplies, green things, or something like Volara, where they have huge product sales. They have things for your laundry room. I have a unit. It's a laundry pure unit. They have a fresh air purifier, fresh air surround sound. They have water things, water purifiers. There's so many room for just, these are our list of products and services. You take a pick. No hard upsells. But now he has some multiple streams of income inside what he's already doing. And it doesn't stop there. What if he made a manual training other people how to become a home inspector? Made an ebook, made a ClickBank uh, system, which is kind of like an ebook that you sell. If you've seen those ebooks online that sell for like 40 bucks, it's that. Then he can take that same content and repurpose it. So we're going to go into some things that you can brainstorm. Hopefully that's piqued a couple ideas, but the key is to pick one. Just pick one. And that's where you look at your strengths and the time that you have and what you like to do. If you hate technology completely, let's see if it did it. Okay, good. It did advance the slide. Video what you are doing. So I talked to a computer guy and he's like, I don't get it. He's like, people need me and then they call and they take half my knowledge and then they end up doing it themselves. And I asked him this question: what if you could get paid to prospect? What if you could get paid from everyone who ever said no to your business, to your opportunity, to your consulting fees? What if you got paid to prospect? And how you do that is by selling inexpensive education that can help you make money off of even the people who say no to your main thing. Let's use that example in network marketing for a minute. What if you had an ebook educating people how to succeed in network marketing? I'm currently in the top 2% of the company I'm in. It's not even my main thing. I work it several hours a week and that's it. Because remember, I won't ever put all my eggs in one basket again. But Ann Sieg and Mike Dillard, if you aren't familiar with them, I want you to write down their names. Ann Sieg, S-I-E-G, and Mike Dillard. They coined attraction marketing. I wish I had done what they did when I first met them online in 2007. But what they did is they basically just sold education on network marketing and people bought it and it created thousands and thousands and then tens of thousands of leads for their network marketing business. And they made money on people who said no to their business. Isn't that incredible? If you think about making money off of everyone who tells you no, it will change your life. And I have been doing some of that same stuff in my business, and it is just amazing. It makes business fun. Doing coaching, consulting on the side, that is active linear income. But if you do it smart, you can monetize it as you go. And then there's also, of course, affiliate products. But that massage therapist, what if for that 20 years, she had been selling oils and supplements in her studio, but then moving people onto auto ship? I have counselors, psychiatrists, and doctors who I have coached to add thousands of dollars a month additional to their practice just by incorporating some simple techniques like adding in supplements that make sense with their practice, like omegas for depression for a psychiatrist, like brain supplements. But the key is moving people onto auto ship eventually. Get it auto delivered to their door. Almost everyone online is doing these days. Amazon has an auto ship option. Vitacost.com has an auto ship option. Dr. Amen is an amazing brain specialist. He has auto delivery. People are getting used to just having what they want show up on their door and will sign up for recurring orders. This creates them coming to you to buy without having to come to you to buy. Doctors are like, no, I want them to come to me. I want them to walk through my door. I want to see them more. You won't. They'll just buy it from Amazon. I promise you. Teaching live classes. I have a doctor who's doing this right now. He's chosen to teach his classes for free, but then he can record them and create audio and videos and webinars to sell online. Create how-to content to sell on ClickBanks. I want you to make sure and write down some of these resources because we're going over so many options today. Remember that your goal is to just find one out of like the 20 plus that I'm going to go into, one that you want to implement right away. Spending a minute on network marketing. Gosh, this one has been good and bad for me. Let me tell you. I call it the bane of my existence and half my income. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I actually consider myself quite the network marketing guru because of how many times I've been burned. But one of my biggest rules is never try to build two. And by build, I mean building a team. You can do like one where you're just selling some product, like that Norwex example I gave. You know, you just want to sell dish rags and cleaning supplies and you don't want to build a team with that. That's fine. You can sell products out of one company. But don't, is the slide still blurry? But don't do more than one to build. If you are going to build one, if you're going to recruit for a network marketing company and build what they call a downline, only do one. And here's some quick rules on what to look for. I'm going to go through these really, really quick. But if you're going to join a network marketing company, and I feel like I know what I'm talking about because I've had to restart a couple times and learned this the absolute hard way. I've earned hundreds of thousands of dollars in the network marketing industry. I've gone on 5 all-expense paid trips, 3 cars, and almost 20 years experience. So remember, it's not even my number one favorite stream of income anymore, but definitely not something to scoff at. Look for these things. Can you make 6 figures with no downline? 6 figures, no downline, question mark. Most of them you can't. You have to have a real product to be able to do that. Not saying that's the best way to build an income in network marketing. Is the product or service auto-renewable? Meaning, is there an auto ship? Is it consumable? If it's not a service that recurs monthly or an auto ship that they eat every month and are actually using up every month, ditch it. Sorry to be so blunt, but there are about 100 companies that actually disqualify for my rules. Remember, this is just my rules and one opinion. I've seen people make hundreds of thousands and millions a month in every type of business. But for me, jewelry companies and things without an auto ship monthly that people are actually signing up for and using just are disqualified. What would happen if all of your team quit? As in just your customers hung around, but all your team and you were retired on a beach. What would your income look like? Do people have to come for you for more? I could go on, but the last one is that's really important is that it's not technology-based. Not technology-based. I have a good friend, they built their entire retirement, put all their retirement eggs in a beautiful basket. It was going quite well. They had over $4,000 residual income and no debt. They bought a motorhome, moved to where they wanted to retire. They had their leaders in place. And right when they needed their checks the most, their checks started going down. Going down. 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, 1,000, then less than $500 a month residual. 500. Who can live on that when you're expecting 4,000? Well, They had tied their retirement to a technology-based company. Anybody ever heard of landlines? Yes. Their income was tied to landlines. Again, never put all your eggs in one basket, and B, stay away from technology that you don't know where it's going to be in 20 years. Remember, there's always exceptions to the rule. People can succeed at anything if they set their mind to. Some amazing outsourcing secrets. This is the key to establishing multiple streams of income. You may not think it's terribly related, but if you don't know how to do a webinar, you can outsource someone to do it. If you don't know how to or incorporate multiple streams into what you're already doing, outsource it. Fiverr, Elance, they will do ghostwriting. So imagine hiring someone on Fiverr to write your book or reformat, edit all your blogs or content that you've already created for other things, edit it, format it, and upload it to Amazon and CreateSpace, which I'll give some really cool self-publishing resources at the end. Because I'm a glutton for punishment sometimes when it comes to these things, I started a publishing company last year or a year and a half ago and produced 5 books for other people. And let me tell you, I found it was so much work that I had to charge over $5,000 just as my entry price to help someone self-publish their book. But instead, I can teach you how to do it for about $500 or less. So if you want to pay me $5,000 for Pottinger Press to produce your book, go right ahead. Or look into Fiverr and have someone ghostwrite it, edit it, format it, upload it, all for less than $500. Okay. I heard a brilliant Craigslist thing. And I'm even going to pause for drama. Okay. Pay close attention. This is gold. This is worth thousands of dollars, this tip right here. If you go to Craigslist, a lot of times there are gigs offered. People actually like looking for other people to do things for them. Websites offered, public relations work, marketing work. But you're like, but I don't build websites. You take the gig, whatever gig is offered. Like if they want a website built, you raise your hand and you say, I can do that. But then you go to Fiverr and you hire out someone to build their website and you are just the middleman. But guess what? Sometimes those gigs that are offered pay hundreds or thousands of dollars. And then you pay a fraction of that on Fiverr. Now, some people may not like this tip. They're like, that's not fair. You're taking jobs away from Americans. Okay, this is totally true. If you have a problem with that, just ignore this tip. But the way I see it is in my business, it's win, win, or no deal. So this is a win for the person on Craigslist. This is a win for you. And this is a win for the Fiverr expert. The Fiverr freelancers, often even a $20 gig is a month or a week worth of income for them in a third world country. I have no problem helping the world. And this is how you can start to get ahead. When you can't invest, when you have bad credit, when you are just racking your thumb, you're twiddling your thumbs, racking your brain, trying to think, what else can I do to make money now? I have got to figure this out. You can't do everything or learn everything for yourself, but you can find someone who already knows what you're trying to do, and you don't have to learn it all. And I want you to really keep that in mind when I'm going through some pretty technical recommendations like ClickFunnels, like ClickBank, Ridzuku, Webinar Jam, EverWebinar. You can learn them yourself, or you can get people to teach you or do it for you for a lot less than you think. That is why you need to go back to that list that you made in the beginning and find out what you are good at. So I am so excited. We are almost to the top of the hour. I have my whole list of resources and everything else still coming up, because that $60,000 tip and a couple more are there. But, and also still are my 20 tips that you can pick one to implement immediately, and then pick 3 or 4 to implement in 2017. But my coaching offer today is normally $2,200, and it's amazing to me that I'm even offering this, because I might even regret it later, mainly because of how much I'm including for this $597. And so this is just something that I've never even offered it this low before, but it includes 3 months of coaching at less than $200 a month, includes 6 one-on-one calls via phone or FaceTime, and then included in that is a customized 1-year revenue streams plan, where I will tailor your business, find some of the best fits out there for your business, help you implement them, and then you'll have a 1-year plan in place to add multiple streams within the year. One of the things I pride myself on is I just see things differently. You get my unique out-of-the-box thinking for your business, your situation. We'll go through that archetype branding together. We will look at what makes sense if you are an attorney or a doctor or a PR marketing specialist who does amazing videos that I could only hope to produce and have access. I'm going to be working a trade for that deal, just because her setup is so sweet, and she wants my brain and I want her studio. So win-win or no deal. So you also get a custom step-by-step plan to implement at least 1 new stream of automated income every 90 days for a full year. Some of them we can actually do more than that quicker. So it really just depends, but as a rule of thumb, that's a great way to do it. Included in that are 2 bonuses. One is beyond the 6 calls. Okay, so I didn't explain why they're called an H to H. BNI, some of you guys know Business Networking International, they call it a one-to-one. Other people call it a one-on-one. There was a great book that came out, and it actually called a sit-down, like just a meeting of the minds, one-on-one. He called it a human-to-human. Well, I still thought that was a little too dude-ish, so I call it a heart-to-heart. So we're just gonna have like 6 heart-to-heart calls at all, like the calls are less than $100 a piece, but then you get all the other customized plan and everything. You get email or text access to my personal email and cell phone, and you get access to our exclusive closed Facebook group called Happiness Hackers for forever access to my weekly Facebook Live coaching videos, group coaching, and peer advice. This is just a taste of all the great information. And I really feel like you could take just 1 or 2 tips today, and we're not even done with the tips. I still have the 20 different things that you can do to make more money, and my free great resources. Some of them are, paid platforms and systems. Some of them are absolutely free, and that tip that's worth $60,000 coming up. So, all right, there it is. Yay, it worked. So the 3 months of H to H coaching, I completely understand. I hope that spending some time with me is that you get way, way, way more in value than you would ever pay in price on even just a free training. I give away so much just stuff. You can also get most of the videos that I've done to date on my Facebook video Aspen Morrow page. But if you can't do the $597, the last thing I want anyone to do is put themselves in worse financial position trying to get ahead. That is not how you do it. Make sure that you can afford anything that you sign up for, but sometimes you do have to stretch outside of your comfort zone. If that's way too far of a stretch out of your comfort zone, then all right, where's my other offer? Okay, or you can lock in the chance. Maybe it won't let me do both of them at the same time. Okay, well, there's the PayPal link. You can lock in the chance for that ongoing coaching program because I may only be taking one group of personalized coaching. Because remember, my plan is to record some of that process and put it in my membership site and systematize it. So it's actually kind of unusual for me to offer customized coaching. I've done quite a few of them so far. I'm not going to be doing a ton more. So the $2,200 will be the price in the future. I know some of my mentors are actually charging $2,500 to $10,000 for the same kind of coaching. So I really do believe it is worth it no matter which one you pick. You can lock in a chance to upgrade for $97. This does include one customized phone consultation on how you can additionally monetize what you are already doing. If what you are already doing is just not working at all, then we will brainstorm some additional things that you can do and help narrow down those 20 options I'm getting ready to give you. Bonus number 1, I'll even include the access to the closed Facebook group. And so you can get access to weekly coaching videos for $97. And you'll get the ebook swipe file on today's webinar. It's not exactly in the same order, but it has the list of the 20 ideas and all the free resources on it. So that if you didn't take good enough notes or you just want the ebook for today's webinar, you will have that. And I'm not sure why that offer is not showing up here on the side, but maybe I have to remove the previous one. All right, well, all you have to do is go to PayPal me, Aspen Morrow 97, and that will give me your contact information, and then we will set up the customized consultation. Here's some great resources. Like I said, this is actually my little publishing company. We specialize in Amazon optimization so that your book actually makes money online. That is like the one thing, Amazon optimization right here. That's the one thing that you really can't outsource because no one else was doing it except for my firm. But I would recommend doing most of these other things through Fiverr and then maybe just hiring my peeps to do the Amazon optimization because they were actually trained by me. And my personal book on Amazon has over 90 reviews and has been selling in my sleep for 2.5 years, hands off. I actually don't do appearances really on that book. I don't do public relations, like is what my degree is in. That book is set it, forget it, makes me money every month. And that's because of Amazon optimization. So you can write a book and it can go nowhere, or you can optimize it with some of my out-of-the-box thinking, like making the whole ebook a live website. Yeah, optimized with SEO for Amazon. Not for Google, but for Amazon. It's a completely different analytics system. Amazon.com, on the bottom, it says self-publish with us. This is where you can upload ebooks. Create Space, print-on-demand books are actually linked to Amazon. and you only have to buy 1 or 2 copies at a time. When I was really working hard in my publishing company, the one thing I wanted to do was steer self-published authors away from those packages. Don't do it. Don't do the iUniverse. Don't do the Christian Authors Association printing. Don't do it. I've got a local printer. I've got all the tools and resources that you could need to self-publish. Don't pay someone for a package deal unless you know really what you're doing and if they're going to be honest with you about what the author copy price is at the end of the day. If you're currently self-publishing, author copy price. That's the most important thing. ACX is where you publish your audiobooks that links to iTunes and Audible. YouTube, upload videos, turn on your monetization with your account. My son is doing this. I am teaching my 15-year-old son how to make money on YouTube with all of his gaming videos. So even your children can get in on some of this multiple streams of income, and it's pretty exciting. Little plug for him, he's just getting started. Please like and follow his channel. It's called Armless Turtle. Armless Turtle. That's my son. At freechild.com. I'd be remiss if I didn't at least mention the business that I have picked for now meets all of my criteria. And then my former network marketing company was actually Legal Shield. I no longer actually recommend that as an opportunity, but the service is still phenomenal for small business owners. And if you don't have an attorney, you can get in a lot of trouble, especially with how many different things that we're doing. Here is one of my favorite lists, and my favorite tip is on the next page. So I appreciate you guys hanging in there. cherriesmooney.com. Holy cow, amazing branding test. This is on your action list for today. They help me narrow what type I am, some of the colors that are great for my business, really focusing on branding me. Aspen, trees, there's a tree on the cover of my book, and I resonate with it. I was named after the aspen tree. My parents were hippies. There's just so much about being true to yourself, being honest with others, having some rules in business, like always doing the right thing when no one's looking. If you can take a screenshot of this page, I highly recommend it because these are some amazing resources. Canva.com, you can do free graphics like the one I did on the right, like the multiple trickles of income, the customized quotes with your branding on it. Online Meeting Now, GoToMeeting, the one I'm using now is Webinar Jam, which will be turned into an Ever webinar, of which people will pay for the replay. Google Hangouts, Zoom, a really great place to start. If you aren't doing webinars, do some for fun, even if you only have a few viewers like me today. And Rizuku, Udemy, Bluehost, Blogger, WordPress, ClickBank, Samcart, ClickFunnels, Lead Pages, Hello Bar. Feeling overwhelmed? You should be, because if you want to make sleep money, it can be easy, but it can also drive you crazy if you don't just pick one and do it. Just pick one and do it. I decided to start with network marketing back 20 years ago, and I wish I had implemented some of these ideas years ago. Thankfully, I make enough money. I make a full-time salary in my sleep by just implementing a few of these. Imagine if you could just make $300 to $500 on a couple of these and then build from there. It's much easier than you think. It seems overwhelming to make $100,000 or more a year with just one revenue stream. But if you can set up several, then if one of them goes away, you're not panicked. I'm going to turn this around for a minute and go through my 20 list. I appreciate you guys hanging in there. And this is like, you're just going to have to get my $97 list because this is so worth it. But this is part of the ebook, and it has all 20 ideas. But 20 ideas you can implement in 2017, picking one at a time. Remember to outsource using Fiverr for things you can't or know you won't have time to do. Okay, get a second job. Yes, we're talking about active and passive. Get a first job. I actually have several passive streams of income, as you know, and I have no like day job. So there's been several times I've actually considered getting a day job because I have so much time on my hands. Can you believe that? And I sometimes get bored even with everything I have going on, because when your time is your own and when your money is your own, you just have more time to be creative and get out of that scarcity survival mode. That's why I'm offering some customized coaching right now, is because I have the time, because my time is my own. And sorry, I just wish that you could know what it was like to have your time and your money free. And it doesn't take as much as what most people think. They're always chasing that bigger, higher number. They're increasing their cost of living, and so they continue on that rat trap. But we have been fortunate to go from that food stamps to a six-figure income. We have 2 acres and 3,000 square feet. And I want everyone to be able to live out their dreams and everyone to experience that freedom of time and income and leverage. And, you know, sometimes a business makes sense for you and sometimes it doesn't. But so sorry, squirrel, you don't even want to know how much I identify a squirrel. Let me see if I can put this on camera. Look, I even have a squirrel lamp. Squirrel. So it's just part of who I am, and I'm going to play to my strengths and not worry about it. So videos on YouTube, we talked about that. Monetizing videos on YouTube. You can do a Facebook Live video, monetize that, upload it to YouTube, and then turn on advertising on YouTube. Talk about like multiple birds. Blogs, selling affiliate products on blogs. I'm going to put this here so it doesn't, I'm not looking all over the place for you. Webinars, do a free one that sells a paid series of webinars or paid series of videos. I'm practically giving mine away. Get a rental property or flip houses. Hold and charge money for classes on topics you already know, on oils or computer skills, social media, personal development. I saw Kelvin on the webinar. He and I are meeting a little bit later today, and he does a great job of having some active income, some passive income. He's in a great company called Wealth Generators that helps the novice invest and make money that way. And they have a network marketing aspect, so he can make some leverage there. Great things in place. Just probably needs to get rid of any, like, so if you're in scarcity mode, you've got to stop the bleeding. And that's where that active income comes in. Just get out of scarcity mode first. And then you can move into multiple streams of abundance. But you have to be grateful for what you have right now. Sorry, I get kind of emotional with this too. But when that doctor told me that I would have trouble ever working a job, that I would be on meds for the rest of my life, if I had stayed there and if I had let those words define me, I would not be able to have the joy that I have now. But I had to find gratitude in that moment. And some of you have heard me say this before, but sometimes it's being as grateful as having two eyes, having two ears, being able to hear, being able to walk, being able to see, having healthy children. I've lost a child. I know what that's like. I have lost my health in the past. We have been broke and destitute. And I want to encourage you today that you do not have to stay there, and that there are so many ways that you can get out of this hole, that you can get out of this rut, which is a grave with the ends kicked out. So back to my list. I'm only on number I'm only on number 8. We're almost halfway there. Write an ebook. Write a write a print book. Create an audiobook. Create a training audio. Create a digital product for ClickBank with content you already have, like blogs. Freelance. Get paid for a side gig to what you are already doing. Like if you're an electrician or a handyman. I have a great HVAC guy, and he started a handyman business on the side with blessing from his employer. And he made almost the same amount on the side with his handyman business as he did in this day job. But now he just needs to find ways to, systematize that and maybe do some of the same tips as the inspector and get people on auto ship for air filters and upsell while he's in people's home for his side job, not his day job. Don't ever mess up your day job, because that will cause so much more stress until you are ready. Online freelance jobs like Craigslist. Like look for gigs offered and then find someone on Fiverr to fulfill that, and they can be doing that work while you're at your day job. There are so many options. I listed multiple ways to make money online. That's number 16. Be an Uber driver. Find a room in your house to rent out to Airbnb. 19. Barter or trade for services. Found money is saved money is earned money. Like me wanting to pay for a house cleaner, but working part of it in trade. Trade for consulting services. Trade. Mainly for things that you're already spending money on. And always remember, win, win, or no deal. Join a network marketing company. May or may not be the right fit, may or may not be for you. You don't have to join mine. Mine doesn't make sense for a lot of your businesses, but find one that does. If you need help, find me on Facebook, just message me and say, this is what I do. Do you know of a network marketing company out there that would be a good fit? I have so many options for myself that I am not worried about which one you join. And then here's actually a bonus one. 21, pay down your debt. It's gotta be a priority. And then invest your streams of money. Live the interest unless you expect to inherit millions, which none of us are. This is the goal in a perfect world. So go get it. And remember, one of my last tips, that $60,000 tip that cost me $60,000 on my degree, is when you're writing, include some of it on PRWeb or prlog.com. I have gotten thousands and thousands of dollars through free publicity and free PR, TV, magazines, internet advertising, just through prlog.com. If you don't know how to write a press release to submit on prlog.com, guess what? There are $5 press releases that will be written for you on Fiverr. And the number one key that I learned, which people will lie to you all the time and say, that you just need to get your name out there. You just need to do baseline advertising. You just need to do branding. Well, if you have 20 million to spend on advertising, you go for it. You can brand the way McDonald's or LifeLock or some of the other big names brand. But if you don't have $20 million to spend on advertising, then I want you to be careful and make sure that you track that every dollar comes back with friends attached. So that is one of my $60,000 tips, the prlog.com, to submit free press releases and get press releases written on Fiverr. You have no idea what it will do for anything else that you're doing, whether it's webinars, ClickBank. You've got to advertise what you create. You can do this. I know that you can and you will, because you are meant for greater things and the world needs you to have your time freed up. When you're looking at these 20 options and other options that come into your life, make sure you're able to say no. Look for things that are flexible, because the ideal source of extra income will allow you to call the shots when it comes to your time. Particularly if you already have a full-time job, the last thing you want is being tied down to working a set number of hours each week at a second job. So be careful if you say yes to things like that are just going to tie you down more. But you've got to get the scarcity out of the way. Flexibility is really important. Make sure it's scalable. Look for income sources that have at least the possibility of generating substantial amounts of income down the road. And be okay working for less than minimum wage until you can scale that. Make sure it's sustainable. The ideal extra income source will continue to generate cash even when you're not working at it, especially while you're asleep. By implementing some of these ideas, you can retire by 40, 50, or 60, even ahead of whenever you thought you could, even if you're starting late, because most of us have 90 days left in us. The idea is to build something that can eventually function without you. And lastly, make sure it's enjoyable. If you don't enjoy it, don't do it, because generating additional sources of income is a lot of work, but you might as well enjoy what you're doing along the way. If you don't enjoy it, quit it. Give yourself permission to do anything, including quitting when it makes sense. And also, lastly, make sure overall that it's inexpensive. I don't like income generating ideas that require massive investments. I looked at an amazing franchise called the Brain Balance franchise. It was $250,000 to get started. And I realized that I actually had a better business model for brain health than they even did. And so that's one of the things on my income list in a year or two, is to start my own franchise. But I will start it up inexpensively. I will slip that canoe in the water and see if it floats. I won't build a battleship and spend $250,000 on a business only to have it crash and burn. So make sure that you set a goal of like even $1,500 per month is an incredible goal of residual income to strive for. It can change your life, your future, your retirement. And I get so excited about this income is because when you have your time and money freed up, you can volunteer, you can travel, you can become a missionary, you can give back, but you cannot wait till then to give. If you aren't giving of your time, of your talents, of your resources, of your tithes, then you have got to start today with giving and paying it forward even when you are broke. And that was one of the biggest keys for me, is that even when I had nothing, I had no self-esteem, severe brain health challenges. We gave to other people, even when we were desperate. So start today. Giving and a positive attitude are the keys to success, even more than some of these poignant tips. And I hope you've enjoyed the 20 plus ways that you can start earning extra income today, start creating sleep money, and I just want to close with you actually being able to see me, and I appreciate your guys' time. We are right on time to end at 10:30, and answering this question, yes, I'm still with Q Sciences, of course. I am not going anywhere. It took me 20 years to find the perfect company. I would be remiss to leave. But I also have my publishing company, which I don't do a whole lot with because it's just not enough leverage, not enough residual income. I found creating my own products and books much more lucrative than producing other people's. So unless you're going to pay me starting at $5,000 to produce your book, there's lots of other ways I can help you do that. Remember those resources that I gave you, and if you'd like the replay of this webinar, including the ebook notes and the one-on-one consultation, make sure and take advantage of this one. Let's see if it'll get set up. So my $97 offer is such a great deal. So is the $597. I appreciate your guys' time today, and have an amazing, amazing time dreaming of sleep money.